all those years you work in that field, how do you improve your skills, your talking skills?
Well, learn to tell stories.
Learn to tell stories. That's a good one.
Because facts tells, story sells. You need to find out what's something that you can see in common. So have a look at the person you want to talk to and find something to complement. When you talk to people, you just want to be comfortable with them, right? It's like making friends.
Exactly.
If that person doesn't make you comfortable, it's like, why would they want to be friends with you? It's not rocket science. It's all about creating a comfortable environment for the other person to want to be in there. If you want to talk to a foreigner, just talk to them. You know, they don't have any high expectation. They don't expect you to speak perfect grammar.
Exactly. I think that's the good mentality.
Don't focus too much on perfecting the grammar. Focus on getting the message, what you want to say, across to the other person.
Yeah.
That'll be the starting point.
Hello, everyone. This is Johnny, and today we are welcoming our special guest, and we're welcoming the one and only...
What's up, guys? How you doing? It's
James. Okay. Yeah, James. Today we're going to talk about how to, talk to people, because we know that you used to be a sales rep in Australia, right?
Well, not really a sales rep, but I worked in retail. So I worked as retail sales for almost, pretty much over a decade.
Over a decade?
Yeah.
Wow. So you must be very, in the know in that field.
Well, not so much anymore because it has been a while. But I started working in retail when I was... pretty much about 19, 20 years old.
So do you have to deal with like a lot of talking with clients?
Lots of different type of people.
Okay, so can you share something interesting about that?
Well, first of all, like when I just began working in the retail industry, it is quite nerve-wracking because you don't know what to say to different types of people. You have those people who are very talkative and really welcoming for your help, and then you also have those kind of people that just want to be left alone. So you kind of have to gauge how to deal and how to communicate with those kind of people.
I think it's a skill to know how to talk to different people from all walks of life.
Right.
Indeed.
Right. I guess you also need to know how to read them. In a sense. So if you're able to kind of predict what they're going to be like, then you can make their experience in the store much more happier. Like I'll give you an example. Like when I am in visiting shops in Taiwan, oh my God, like the assistants, they're like flies. They're like flying around you. Oh, 这个可以试穿哦，那个可以试穿哦. I'm like, I know I can. Like if I can't try it on, like why am I even bothering buying it? You don't need to tell me this kind of stuff. So it gets really annoying.
Oh, so that kind of behavior kind of gets pushy on your nerves.
Oh, it gets on my nerves so much. So sometimes when they even say that kind of stuff, I just leave.
Exactly. I feel the same way. That makes two of us because sometimes I'm a big fan of Tommy Hilfiger.
Oh, right.
And whenever I go past one, I would just walk inside, just take a look.
Right.
And sometimes they will see me wearing Tommy as well because I wear Tommy almost on a daily basis.
Yeah, I can see on your shirt. You're the big stripes. I'm like, oh, Tommy.
Actually, guy. I'm the I endorse the product.
Yeah, you're ambassador. Yeah, hire Johnny as ambassador, guys.
Exactly. And no matter whenever they say that or they come close trying to introduce some new products, a new line, I feel a little bit uneasy when they are around.
You feel like they're just pushing it.
Yeah, a little bit pushy, right?
Forcing it onto you.
So need to draw a line, a demarcation,
right?
So for that,
exactly. So for my approach, so when I was working in a store, I would often stand outside the store. Okay,
stand outside the store.
Yeah, well, not too far, just
drifting away,
just right in the entrance. Okay, I might be making myself look busy. Okay, so I might be doing some visual merchandising. Okay, I'm trying to if I have nothing else to do, I might knock over a shoe or something and then place the shoes back again. And then just to make the customer know that I'm busy doing something. So they don't feel that I'm going to approach them straight away.
Do you have a turn for each client to take care of the customer? Because, would that be your bonus or something?
Oh, you mean commission?
Yeah, the commission.
the store that I was working for, it wasn't commission based.
Oh, it's not commission based.
Yeah, so we're just getting a base salary really. But if it was commission based, oh my god, I would have made so much money. Yeah, but like so like I was saying, I will make myself look busy, and then the customers will go into the store, right? And then so they will be looking at so let me just give you guys a little bit more information. So the that I used to work for is called Onitsuka Tiger. Have you ever heard about that?
No, never heard of.
So it's the heritage brand of ASICS.
Oh.
亚瑟士.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So before
ASICS.
ASICS was called ASICS, they were called Onitsuka Tiger.
Sounds like Japanese brand.
It is so ASICS is Japanese.
Okay.
Yeah. So it wasn't until the 80s they switched to the name ASICS. So it was actually called ASICS Tiger.
ASICS
and
Tiger.
Then it became ASICS
Okay.
individually. So I was working for the heritage brand. Okay, because the Onitsuka Tiger, they were the sports shoes for the Olympians going back to the 60s.
Yeah. So for all those years you work in that field, how do you improve your skills, your talking skills?
Well, learn to tell stories.
Learn to tell stories. That's a good one.
Because facts tells, story sells. Okay, so when a customer comes in, they're holding on to a shoe, right? They might be looking at it, and I ask them, customer, hey, did you know what that shoe used to be used for?
Wow. That's insightful.
Yeah, so it's like they'll be like, oh no, what is it? Oh, so the Olympians back in the Mexico Olympics, they wore these shoes for their track and fields running. And I'll tell them a little bit more information, and then it's like, hey, would you like to give it a try?
Okay, so
Yeah.
you try to fill them in on some background knowledge, background
A
story
little bit of
it.
trivia, you know. So who doesn't like trivia?
Exactly. I think that
Yeah.
can, build up the rapport with the clients.
Exactly. And whether or not they buy anything, I want them to leave the store knowing more about the brand.
Oh, I think you're very responsible in that regard because
Yeah.
a lot of the clients, a lot of the sales rep, they can only know how to push
Yeah.
clients to buy something.
I don't want to push. I want to attract.
Okay, you attract, right? That's a
Right?
good approach.
So for them, they will remember this little trivia, and then they'll tell their friends. It's like, oh, really? Oh, I must check it out.
Okay.
And then you get them to try it on. Oh, do you feel the heel support and all that? Yeah, that's why it was the running shoes at that time. Yeah.
Oh, just try to tell them, to encourage them to feel the beauty of it.
Exactly, the elegance,
The
the
elegance.
history.
Okay.
It's like what you have is a piece of history on your foot.
Okay, good. So those are the strategies for in the workplace.
Yeah.
And now we're talking about also, in our daily life, because
Right.
for me, I'm not a sales rep. I've been a teacher for all my life.
Wow.
And right now, I kind of at this age, kind of drift away from some social events.
Oh, okay.
Not like my colleagues,
Right.
because one of my colleagues, he leads a very colorful life. He works for only 11 months.
I wonder who this is.
who you are?
Hello,
Okay,
wait, are you listening?
In that regard, do you have anything to share?
Well, I guess when you want to talk to people that you have never met before, I guess first of all, it is the atmosphere. I mean, if you're in an environment where it's very, very noisy, for example, you're going to a dinner event and everybody's chatting, you don't want to scream on across each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so if it's in that kind of situation, then I guess don't force yourself.
Exactly, because
Yeah.
the other day I went to a wedding banquet
Right.
with my wife, and during the banquet, they happened to see my wife's pictures in France, and they said, "Okay, wow, you had a fantastic trip in France, and how did you arrange that?" And my wife said, "Okay, my husband made all the preparations and arrangements for that," and after that, I don't. I didn't want to to elaborate on more details of the trip because it was too noisy.
Right, yeah. Well, it's like, hey, and maybe you can just say, oh man, I would love to share how I did it. Yeah, I'd love to share my planning process, and maybe when the time is more suitable.
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
set up for my course.
and then you can get the details.
Yeah,
and then set up another time to have a chat.
Okay.
Right, because it's everything. There's a time and day for everything, man.
Okay. Yeah. Even for now, sometimes when I hang out with my close friends or even my family members,
Right.
I fail to find something to talk to them.
Yeah, I guess the family dynamics, it is a very strange thing.
Exactly.
I mean, it's not just you. Also for me, if I'm at home, sometimes it is very hard to kind of chat with my parents. You know,
Okay.
because you just don't know what to say unless it's about about the kids, you know, their grandchildren, and then that's a topic.
I think for kids they find it more natural not to talk to parents. They think it's natural.
Well, I guess it's the way we've been brought up.
Oh,
right. I mean, our parents, they worked very hard to give us a really nice life. So they worked their butts off. They're super busy. So when they are not working, I guess they want to rest.
Oh.
And I guess it doesn't apply for every family, of course. But if you're talking about for our age and our parents' generation, then it is more like that.
Because sometimes when we went out for a meal with my kid, when I went out for a meal with my kids, and sometimes I feel that I have the urge or I have the need to bring up a topic with my kids. You know, if not,
what kind of topic do you like to talk about?
Because right now they are adolescents, the teenagers,
so good.
And I think teenage kids they don't feel the need to like actively strike up a conversation with your parents or your folks.
Are they in the rebellious stage right now?
Yeah, kind of like rebellious. So you have to like step out the first step.
Yes.
To how was school and how was your friend? Blah blah blah.
Right.
And I can relate to that because when I was little, I kind of like feel the same way. My mom always complained that you are the one who never talk in the family.
Yeah, it is kind of strange. I mean, going back to the topic of being at home with your parents. Yeah, I guess I know as you get older, like the things that you guys talk about will probably relate to more about life, I guess. And I will ask my parents about some advice about like bringing up my kids and stuff like that.
Your career move,
especially with the career move, and especially transitioning back to Melbourne. There's a lot of things going on, and like there's a lot of things like the different types of like tax and bills.
Do they live in Australia or
they live in Australia, but they go back and forth all the time.
Are they very open-minded?
Very, very. I guess I'm lucky they are open-minded for parents of that generation.
They never shut down your ideas.
Well, they try to support it.
Okay.
But maybe whether they agree or not, that's another thing.
Okay.
Yeah, but they try to support my decisions.
Oh, because the last time when I brought up the idea of like, because I kind of like feel the urge to, I have a burning desire to become a tour guide.
A tour guide,
yeah. After traveling to different places,
right.
I have this kind of desire to become one, and they said, "Don't do that."
They already saw COVID-19 coming. Imagine. Like
I think that's one of it, and the other one they think that I'm not that well-organized person.
Right. Yeah.
And just what I mentioned before the show, like my mom, she used to like make all the arrangements for me.
Yes.
So even when I was little, the only thing I had to do is to study.
Right.
So she said, okay, what you have to take care of is just study. You don't have to worry anything else. So right after I got married with my wife, and she always complained that I'm like an idiot in life. I don't know how to change light bulbs. I don't know how to use the washing machine.
Yeah.
I don't know how to use the ATM.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that's where my family is different because my dad, he's an engineer.
I'm not going to show this show to my mom. You're now complaining about me taking care of you?
Yeah.
You disobedient son.
Yeah, like
hide the link.
Yeah, pretty much. I only show my parents like the previous shows on Funday that I've recorded. Yeah, but I guess not this one. Yeah.
Not this it's a complaining session.
Nah, I'm not. I got nothing to complain. I'm very grateful for them, for my parents to allow me to do what I want. Like especially like after when I finished high school. Right, I did a it's not a bachelor's of it's what you call an advanced diploma.
Yeah.
Right. So after I finished studying that, I went to Japan for working holiday. Yeah, but that was when the global financial crisis happened.
Okay.
Right. I originally planned to stay in Japan for a much longer period of time. But the money that I had, the value just went by half because at that time, $1 Australian was about 100 yen.
Okay.
But after the global financial crisis, GFC, $1 became 50 yen.
Back to the safe topics, because sometimes I feel a little bit weird that when we hang out with our family members.
Right.
Like I used to notice that when I hang out with my brother-in-law.
Okay.
You know, during the meal, it's very awkward that we are just,
Got nothing in common?
have nothing to say, and we just read the messages on our cell phone or something like that. So people they say there is a saying like the longest distance is that when you sit in the same place but you don't talk to each other, or when you are reading the phones.
Right.
It doesn't happen in like Western countries, right?
Well, Western country, I guess the parenting style from when they're young, like the fathers treat their children more like friends.
Oh, right.
Right? So the kids are more willing to share things with the parents. Like socializing, okay? Like I reckon there's like, again, time and place for everything. You don't have to force yourself. Okay, you don't have to force yourself to have to talk to somebody, okay? But it really is like, I guess you need to look at the purpose.
Okay.
Okay, why do you need to talk to this person? But if it's going to like a socializing event that's got nothing to do with work, like then like sometimes I just like to be at the bar and drink the like everything on tap.
So do you think traveling or something along the lines can be a safe topic?
Traveling is definitely a very safe topic, and it's food. You need to find out what's something that you can see in common. So have a look at the person you want to talk to and find something to compliment. Right? Okay, so maybe they're wearing a very nice watch. It's like, oh, hey, I really like your watch. I'm also a fan of watch. Hey, like, and it's like, oh, like, hey, where did you get yours? I've been looking for a watch, something like yours. And so find a way to create a conversation. And then if you want to keep on the same conversation, so be it, but you can always navigate to something else. Okay. Oh, by the way, like, what brought you here? Oh, I'm here with my wife. It's my wife's friend's wedding or something. And that's why I'm here.
Exactly.
How about you?
Yeah, just before the show, we kind of do a demo like this. We exchange some banters with each other, and talking about like our dream car.
Exactly.
Mine is the blue Mustang Shelby with the white stripes.
Yeah. And for me, like I used to like I still do like the Shelby, but because after I became a parent, the dream car is a Toyota Alphard.
And that kind of like bring us closer together.
Exactly.
By talking to each other.
Exactly. So when you talk to people, you just want to be comfortable with them, right? It's like making friends.
Exactly.
If that person doesn't make you comfortable, it's like, why would they want to be friends with you? It's not rocket science. It's all about creating a comfortable environment for the other person to want to be in there.
Exactly. I think you use one expression which is very good. Not rocket science. It means very easy. It's like walk in the park, right?
Don't overcomplicate things. Keep it simple. Keep it natural. Keep it genuine.
And I think our students, our audience, they also want to, be like us, being able to communicate in English with native English native speakers.
Right.
And I think it takes time.
It does take time.
Yeah.
And I think, like, first of all, if you want to talk to a foreigner, just talk to them. They don't have any high expectation. They don't expect you to speak perfect grammar.
Exactly. I think that's the good mentality. One of my colleagues shared something with me the other day. He said when he was in college, he went to a pub with his friends, and he managed to strike up a conversation with natives, Western people, Western people, and their friends were very surprised at his ability to, because he was not good at English, and say, "Wow, how did you manage to speak English with them?" And sounds like you have a fun time with them.
Right, you're able to at least get the message across. That's the most important thing.
Just being able to get your message across is the key. Right.
That's right. So don't focus too much on perfecting the grammar. Focus on getting the message, what you want to say, across to the other person. Yeah. That'll be the starting point. That's right.
So thanks a lot for sharing the tips with us.
My pleasure.
Really enjoyed talking with you again.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks a lot. All right.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.